Good morning, everybody. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, we have people who are called the heroes of the faith. And one of those heroes is a man called Gideon. You'll find Gideon in Judges chapter 6. The people of Israel have been oppressed by Midian for 7 years. They're humiliated, they're hungry, and they're lacking hope. And we are told in Judges chapter 6, the angel of the Lord appears to Gideon and tells him he's a warrior, a mighty man of valor, a deliverer. Now, I don't know what you think a hero looks like. Is he 6'4" with blue eyes, with a square chin, who never gets afraid, who's always there at the front of the battle? I don't think that's true, you know. People who fought in the Second World War say they were fearful most of the time. But you know, we got this picture, haven't we? That heroes never fail, that heroes are always strong and tough. It's not true. Gideon here is afraid. He's trying to get out of it, if you like. He's got opportunity aversion. He says, I can't do this. I'm the youngest in my family. I'm from the smallest tribe. I've got no background in leadership. How can you expect me to do it? And we are like that sometimes when the call of God comes our way. When we are challenged to do something for God, we back off and we say we can't do it. Moses, for example, in Exodus chapter 3 said the same thing. When God called him from being a shepherd, when he spoke to him at the burning bush and told him to go back to Egypt and release the people, Moses had all manner of excuses. He said, who am I? Why me? How can I prove that you were with me? I can't speak very well. It's funny, isn't it, that these great men who became the heroes started off quite inadequately, started off with great fear, and they didn't think they could do the job. And perhaps you are feeling like that today. You know, heroes, like I said, are not what you think they are. They come in all shapes and sizes. They come with all their fears and frailties. But there's a common denominator in all these stories, whether you are Moses, Joshua, or Gideon. There's a phrase you'll find in all these chapters. It says, but I will be with you. In other words, what God is saying is, it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what your background is or who you think you are. God says, I can take over. I can equip you. I can enable you. So courage is, the source of the courage is God. The one that enables you to do what you can do is God. You can't do it yourself. I say week after week, what am I going to say next week on our thoughts for today? And each week God comes up with the answer. And he gives me thoughts to say, words to say, to share, to encourage. It's not to do with me, it's to do with him. I can do nothing. Paul says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me the strength. I'm in the same category. If you look at the story of Gideon, all the time in this section of Judges, Gideon needs reassurance. He asks God on one occasion, I'm going to put a fleece of wool on the ground, let it be wet and the ground be dry, and that happens. And then he says, look, I'm sorry, God, I do need your help again. I need your assurance. I need to know that you are with me. He says, let the fleece be dry and the ground be wet, and that happens as well. So God's continually helping this young man to get to the place where he's got to be. So if you don't feel courageous today, God will help you to get to the place where you've got to be. Even after that reassurance from God, God takes him down into the camp of the Midianites, and he goes with his servant Purah, and he hears a dream of 2 men who are on duty, telling him about a barley loaf that's tumbling into the camp of the Midianites. That's reassuring Gideon again that he's going to win. A hero of the faith, a man who keeps on getting reassurance, who keeps on asking God for help. That's okay. What I'm saying to you today, courage isn't something that is natural to all of us. And we need each other. We need God's help to do this. We can't do it on our own. So the story of Gideon, the man who was beating out wheat in a wine press, instead of on the top of the mountain where the threshing floor was, don't give him a bad press. Sometimes Gideon gets a bad press because people think he's a bit of a wimp. But he's not. He's an ordinary man with the same frailties and fears as us, but steps into God's courage and God enables him to succeed. See, God wins. You know, it says, who dares wins. But I have to say, Gideon didn't have much daring in him. But God equipped him to do it. So today, In your weakness, allow God to give you the courage to do what he's got to do in you. God went out, he pulled away, but God overcame his weakness and his leastness, and they won. And God will do that today for you. He will win through. Remember, the common denominator is, but I will be with you. So today, in your fearfulness and your minimal courage, help God to help you to be people of courage. Lord, help us, I pray today, to realize that courage comes in all shapes and sizes, and help us to do what you want us to do, Lord. Amen.